So recently, some new Assassin's Creed Shadows gameplay has dropped as a lot of content creators got access to the prologue and some level 25 gameplay. But I want to go into a bit of a deeper dive on some of the positives and some of the negatives that we can see from this gameplay, and also talk about some of the things that the general community is, let's just say, not very happy with. So the first thing I want to cover is the two main characters, Naoe and Yasuke. These characters appear to be interchangeable at any point during the game, essentially, but they play very, very differently, especially Yasuke. He almost plays like something we've never seen before in a modern Assassin's Creed game. Naoe, on the other hand, is more of like your classic assassin. She's got all the abilities that a normal Assassin's Creed kind of character does, and she looks like the substandard main character. Now, just from looking at the gameplay, I'm going to be completely honest. If I'm looking for a really classic Assassin's Creed experience, there is no chance in hell that I'm going to be playing Yasuke. And this is because he just feels super limited. Like, he's very, very good on a frontal combat situation, but that's about it. His parkour is extremely limited, and he doesn't have like the stealth features that you can use with Naoe, including his assassination even, which is a brutal assassination that alerts almost every enemy in the area anyway, so it's hardly an assassination if you ask me. And parkour and stealth is like two of the three main components in a modern Assassin's Creed game, the third being frontal combat, but Naoe features all three of them. She can be stealthy, she can assassinate well, and she can do frontal combat if she needs to. Now, let's be honest, judging from the gameplay, it looks a lot harder with Naoe, but that's why you have the other abilities that she provides, because you don't have to go frontal combat all the time. Whereas Yasuke, you're really only limited to just running in there and killing everything. I'll also add that another thing that's going to piss a lot of people off, especially people that are playing Yasuke, is I've even seen clips of Yasuke climbing a building and then literally saying like a voice line like, oh, maybe Naoe can do this, in terms of like a synchronization point. If you're a Yasuke player and every time you want to go to a specific parkour synchronization point or whatever, and you have to sit through a loading screen every time just to switch to the character that can actually do it, just so you can sit through another loading screen and switch back, it just seems a bit dysfunctional and doesn't seem like the greatest system. Now, these critiques are all well and good, but the part that I'm struggling a little bit with is what the balance can be, because I understand where Ubisoft is coming from. They can't make a giant big samurai wearing all this armor good at parkour and necessarily good at stealth either. But at the same time, he doesn't even feel like an Assassin's Creed character anymore. And he's really not. He's not an assassin by any means. He doesn't have a hidden blade. He's just a samurai. Now, this doesn't bother me that much because I'm going to be playing Naoe anyway. It clearly bothers some people though, as this absolute dumbass commented in my last video. But regardless, it's not going to matter to me very much because Naoe feels more like the Assassin's Creed character that I was kind of hoping for in feudal Japan anyway. People are going to play Yasuke and I'm sure they're going to have a good time as well, but if I'm being completely honest, he just doesn't feel like a real Assassin's Creed character. But the funny thing about that is that I don't even think Yasuke is going to be one of the top 10 problems in this game. Like, I think there's a few things that I'm a bit worried about currently, like the lack of open world exploration that we didn't get to see through the gameplay, and how Ubisoft were quite reluctant to show off any side quests when they gave these creators a chance to display their game. It was just the one main quest in the prologue, and it didn't really get to flaunt a lot of key features that the game was very well known for in the past. And I just find this funny because due to all the bad press surrounding this game, now don't get me wrong, this game is going to sell. Regardless of whether it's good or not, it's going to sell just because, one, it's a feudal Japan Assassin's Creed game, something fans have wanted for so long, but two, there is so much controversy around this game. I think people are genuinely so curious about what it's going to turn out, they're going to buy it regardless, including me. Whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, I'll let you decide, but I do just find it surprising they wouldn't show off more open world and side quest elements to the creators, because if they were good, then it would create a lot more hype for the game than there already is. And currently there's not a bunch of positive hype, unfortunately. And when I say this, I actually genuinely do believe it, but I feel like side quests really make an open world game almost more than the main story. If I think about every great open world experience I've had, it's always been kind of molded by the immersiveness of all the other content apart from the main quest. I just made a Horizon Zero Dawn video basically explaining that in one of the segments of that video, and it really changed how good the game felt. And while I don't think the modern Assassin's Creed side quests have necessarily been bad, I wouldn't say that they've been great either, to be honest. I don't know, I feel like there's not quite enough personality in the side quests, and some of them can just feel like a bit of a tedious task that you gotta do just for some XP. While a lot of people don't really mind that, I think this game would be a really good chance for them to kind of like change that narrative around and hopefully have some more immersive questing outside of the main story. So yeah, I'll be honest, when I don't see much of the open world or the side questing elements of the game, it does make me slightly worried, because I feel like if they were really good or polished, they'd want to show a couple of them off, even if it's just one. Now, another alarming situation regarding critiques on this game is a video made by Shohei Kondo explaining essentially his dislike towards the game and how he feels it disregards Japanese culture. But the problem with this is that it got taken down for hate speech. Not just once, not just twice, but I think about 10 times, he said in his video. Now, this is a terrible look on Ubisoft, because if they're taking down any videos critiquing their game, it does mean that they are insecure about their final product, and they don't have faith that it's going to be good. Also, how can he get the video taken down for hate speech when he's literally a Japanese person himself pointing out how the game is hate speech towards him, but he gets banned for hate speech? Like, what are we talking about here? Like, how does this stuff continue to happen? It feels like there's more content about, like, Ubisoft's behavior before the game has even come out than there will be when the game comes out. And I know a lot of people probably don't care that much about this kind of stuff. They're just the average player who's looking to just play a game. But for someone who's trying to look a little bit deeper into the gaming industry, like, this stuff is actually alarming, and this is bad. These are the people that are making your video games, and if you can't even make a critique about their game without it getting taken down as hate speech, then that's a serious problem. And I think this is also why we're seeing a lot of bias in video game journalism nowadays as well. Like, people are almost too scared to say anything wrong because of this exact reason. Because these companies somehow have the power to just take people's videos down for whatever they feel like. Now, while I'm not fully convinced that this game is going to be good yet, I do see some signs that are pointing in a hopefully positive direction. I think the game's visuals look really good. That's never really been a problem for this game. They've always done well at portraying the country or wherever they are in the game, and I think they do it again in this game. The visuals do look really good, and I think that's a very important part of the game, because, you know, if the gameplay isn't great, then sometimes the visuals are all you need to enjoy the game. It's aesthetically pleasing, and if it looks nice, then people will just play it. So I think they've done a really good job, and I'm quite impressed by the visuals. Now, another thing I've seen is a lot of people are a bit concerned on the combat. However, I'm a bit more optimistic. I actually don't think it looks terrible, and I actually think that Nawe especially has some really cool combat animations, and she has a really nice array of weapons. I think Yasuke is a lot more basic. It makes sense. He's a samurai. He just does have, like, the sword and just the heavy weapons, I guess. But I don't think it looks as bad as what people are saying. Yasuke can be a bit sluggish sometimes from some of the clips that I've watched, but Nawe seems to be quite smooth and agile and looks quite fun to play. Now, I've watched a lot of different creators' point of views on the story they get to play in the little demo they were given, but I don't really feel comfortable enough giving in my take on the storyline so far, because I do not know anything about it. You kind of get thrown into some sort of level 25 main quest, and you've got to do all these things to hunt down this guy. Classic AC stuff, but I don't really feel like I should be giving any take on that, because the game isn't out. I have no idea how these characters got to this point, and I'm just going to wait for the full game to come out to talk about that. So basically, in summary, man, I think there is still hope for this game, and I think that a lot of people who are diehard Assassin's Creed fans, especially of the modern era, are still going to really enjoy this game. Now, by no means do I think this is Game of the Year, or do I think this is even going to be the best Assassin's Creed ever made, but if you're an Assassin's Creed fan who likes Assassin's Creed games, this game is going to be good for you. I think regardless of whether or not you have tuned into any of the controversy surrounding the game, the average player probably doesn't give a shit about that, just only cares about the gameplay, which is fair enough. And even then, they might not even care that much as long as they're playing an Assassin's Creed title, which I also understand. To be honest, as long as the game isn't a complete slugfest like Valhalla and it's got some decent side content, I'm going to enjoy this game. Like, I still think that AC games are fun, and I have a good time playing them most of the time. So I'm still looking forward to this game. I have high hopes, and I really hope it's good. Thank you guys for watching.